Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mars direct Scorpio New Moon. Mars went direct November 13th yesterday, and tonight rather, is the Scorpio New Moon at 23 degrees. So hello and welcome, 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 welcome. I will be talking about both of those energies because they are the strongest and as it fits into the larger context of what is going on right now for everyone. Hello, everybody. Hey, Mondo, Tammy, Nadia, and John. Hey, everybody. Hello. And then I will be going into over on Patreon what it means for all 12 signs for both Mars direct and the Scorpio new moon. But I'm going to say so much. I'm going to talk so much about the energy and really just convey the gist of this. So you will be able to figure it out if you look at your chart and, do your own, a little analysis of it. So, I mean, that's my intention. My intention, honestly, my most heartfelt wish is to see every single person making the most of their lives and being empowered and free. That's what I want for you guys. So let's see how I can do. Okay. So this new moon is tonight, November 14th, and it's a later degree new moon. It's happening at about 23 degrees of Scorpio, 17 minutes, right there with the sun. That's what makes it a new moon, and it's darkish, and it's going to gain in fullness. And the big thing about this new moon, number one, is it is a huge relief. We just come off this Halloween, blue full moon, and it was conjunct Uranus. So this is definitely a different vibe from that erratic unpredictability. And it's sextiling Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn. Oh my gosh, to have an easy time, like I don't know if you guys saw Buffalo 66. An easy time, span time. They're with Capricorn, and Scorpio and Capricorn are like homies, right? So that's cool. That's a big help. And this new moon is trining Neptune in Pisces. So that is also a big help. And I'm going to give you guys the two. This is a very kind of polarizing new moon. You can really take this really high vibe, and you can go so low. You can go so low with this, and you're probably going to see that in people in your life. I'll get into that. So this is a brand new start. However, I really feel that because we have this Mars direct energy associated with this new, it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Jupiter, Pluto conjunction Capricorn, Mars stationing direct in Aries, Scorpio new moon, all of this is really part of this big oomph for the Scorpio new moon. I feel like it is taking something from this Mars retrograde with it and kind of giving you a major boost. And I have the chart for the corresponding Scorpio full moon for April 26th, 2021. And this chart, the biggest thing about this is that it features a major, massive T-square. The moon in Scorpio is opposing the sun in Taurus. The sun in Taurus is with Uranus in Taurus, Venus in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus. So what you start now, and this is why I'm putting it in this context, to give you guys what you can expect 6 months from now to hopefully steer you to making the best possible positive, high vibrational decisions. Because this Mars is going to be really, I'll get into that. Okay, so what I'm getting from this chart and from what's going on here is that definitely major financial shifts, finances, values, what's important to you, what the truth is, the truth of relationships, of wants and motivations and desires, and everything that you could possibly really want for yourself, what that really entails as far as, is it really what you want? Is it really something that is true to who you are? Is it really something that you can take with you for the rest of your life? Because if it's not something that you can take with you the rest of your life, if it's not something that really fits in the deep down foundation of your being and of your soul, actually, let's start there. Let's go back to Mars and what Mars is doing. So Mars has station direct, and he's kind of going to be still at a standstill for the rest of a while. And so here he is at 15 degrees of Aries. He's actually, if you use a 10-degree orb like I do, he's kind of conjunct Chiron in Aries at 5 degrees of Aries. So he's moving forward from pain, and he's been frustrated. He's been not getting what he wants. So he was last at 15 degrees of Aries, July 25th. So look in your camera roll, look in your emails, look in your messages, and see what was going on in your life at the end of July. And for those of you who watch my Syrian Stargate video on Patreon in the Nights tier for the 8/8 portal, this is what I'm talking about. Like that energy is over here now, moving forward over this next 6-month period, as well as just finishing out the last of this year. So whatever was going on, and I don't know if you guys remember me talking about, I talked about a lot, the 8/8 Syrian Stargate with all of that like Leo energy, and Sirius is so much bigger and brighter than the sun, but you know. So that was the end of July. Okay. So we're going to kind of be going back to move forward. I know, back to the future, right? It was mid-September to now, mid-November, that we've had this retrograde period. And then it'll be from now until January 3rd that we can move forward, that actions can be taken, that changes can be made, changes of desires, motivation, and action, those 3 things. So what was brought forth before up until the end of July during the retrograde period has either been deepened and really, really strengthened. This is like that Bruce Lee energy where it's like, no, this is it. I'm going to discipline myself. I know that I want this. I know I'm going to overcome this, and I'm going to give myself everything I need to do it. And I want it. And this is it. Or reversed. So whatever you were pushing up until the end of July, or like around that time, end of July, beginning of August, whatever you were so either angry about or highly motivated to do or get or see or have or spend or be with or go against, reversed. It just unraveled. It just came apart. So I feel a lot of that is things that you were, this is why I told you guys, if you're going to be aggressive at this time, you don't want to be the first one, because the first one that's aggressive is always going to be the one that really loses out. And I told you guys back then, like in July and in August, that you won't even know how much you regret that until about January. And this is kind of when we're going to start to see that. So if you were pushing late June to mid-September, how have you been relinquishing your will and rechanneling this Mars energy? Because that is what determines if it is going to be deepened. And this is like my Bruce Lee goal here, or if it's going to fall apart. Oh, I really wasn't into that anyway. I really didn't want that person anyway. I really didn't mean to attack them. I really didn't care about that conflict. I really shouldn't have gotten into that conflict. That was so, and now I ruined a relationship, or now I blew this up, or now my job is this, or, so that's like the lesson, is to rechannel that Mars energy that was not getting satisfied, that was not, it was like ego issues, ego battles, triggers, Mars triggers. Mars triggers are very difficult to deal with because I have my Mars in Aries, so it's like an adrenal gland, it's hair trigger, it's like instantaneous. So I already, because I am who I am, I already went in, I walked proudly into this Mars retrograde period, and I knew exactly what to do. So yeah, have you instead served others? And this is really what helped me get through this period, is not even focusing on myself, not focusing on what Natalie wants, not focusing on what Natalie gets, not focusing on what Natalie feels, kind of, and just focusing on, and I'm lucky because I have you guys, I have my Patreon community, I have, so there were places for me to put that into. And that's a big thing about this Mars retrograde, is that wherever that was happening in your life, in your chart, you weren't getting what you wanted. So you were being challenged to think of other people, to think of other people's feelings, or to think of outside of yourself. So the other part of this, however, is getting in touch with repressed anger and If you have been triggered over this period, understand, I said this a lot too, understand that anger has a purpose in our lives. Anger is here to alert us when someone is pushing on our boundaries. So I'm going to repeat what I kind of keep repeating what I've been saying. So what you've been wanting to do and think about, and even now and moving forward, is always whenever you get angry to stop and ask yourself, is someone pushing on my boundaries? Is someone really trying to hurt me? Is someone betraying me? Is someone trying to trespass into a part of me that is like private? Or, you know, because if the answer is yes, then your anger is justified. But if they're just triggering some insecurity inside of you, or some ego dilemma, or some frustrated motivation, and they're not really harming you or pushing on your boundaries, then you're in the wrong. Then you know that you have that's shadow work right there. I know people say shadow work, shadow work. This is it. That's exactly what it is. When you recognize that, it's like, wow, that conflict I was in, they weren't really trying to hurt me or take anything from me or sabotage me or anything. And I was like so upset, and I was so reactive. I was so, wow, that was me. That's the shadow work, is going back and figuring out why you felt that way, why you got triggered, where does it come from? How do you feel better? How do you get through this? And asking yourself, like doing hermit stuff, hermit mode. So that's the bigger arc of this Mars transit. Now, if you've been resisting this work, if you've been on the attack, if you have been launching, or if late June, especially late July, if you've been attacking others, or if you had ego stuff going on, now that Mars is direct from now till January, and even after that, because when Mars enters Taurus, he's going to square Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, and there's going to be all this other stuff going on. So what that tells me is that after this hard Mars retrograde cycle, and then going into more stuff, like more contentious stuff, this lunation, this new moon, is also having a T-square aspect with Mars involved. This is a very Mars-ruled lunation. Mars is back in dignity. He's much more effective. He's opposing Venus. Both of them are T-squaring Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn. So what this tells me is that all of this is telling me is that the door can hit you so hard on the way out. If you haven't been working with this Mars energy, if you haven't been working and doing your shadow work, this T-square, first of all, can be hysterical. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying, like, you guys be on the lookout for people in your lives, and you're like, ooh, you're like, why are you acting all possessed? Like they're having little breakdowns. It can be downright hysterical. Yeah. If you've been resisting, there can be frustration moving forward. You can feel so lost, so frustrated, dissatisfied, like nothing really makes you happy. Even if you get what you want, you're just not happy with it. And there can be humiliation. There can be a lot of humiliating conflict, or the conflict that you entered in anytime from late June, late July, mid-September. Those are like the hot points, but anytime then till now could be really exposed and put on a public display. And that is because of Pluto, which is media, mass media, Jupiter, throwing it into a huge proportion, and then Saturn, which is shame and humiliation and fear, and also prestige and notoriety. It's the top of the chart. So that's the lower channelings. You can still turn this around. If you can choose to do your shadow work and to move forward on things and really do the work at any time. And it happens usually in layers. Like, we're usually not able to just do all of the big soul work in one day. Okay, it's like we do little things at a time, and that's why all of these patterns are very cyclical and circular. Okay, that's one way this can manifest, is this T-square. It's like hysterics, it's breakdowns, and it's like, oh my, and it's a course correction, and you still have time to do this. Mars is direct, so it's like if you act out, it's like very consequential. Very consequential. The other part of this, if you have been thinking of others, if you have been redesigning and if really taking a look at your own motivations and your own desires and your own passion principle during this cycle, this now moving forward can be a breakthrough. And that's what I'm hoping is happening for you guys, because you've been with me since then, you know? So it's like now you're reaching your goals. You had to refine your will. You've had to refine your determination and your motivation, but now you're off and running. So it'll be a different Mars experience when Mars enters Taurus and squares Jupiter, and it'll feel different for you than it will for the the people that were trying to, you know. Okay, so that's. I hope I did that justice. The Mars part of this, because that's something happening in the background, right? That's one of the things happening with this T square to Venus. Venus is driven by what she wants. She's trying to beautify. She's trying to cooperate. She's trying to get her needs met. And there's an area of your life that it's trying to get there. But both of them, T squaring Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn, that's a creation of power. It's a creation of power. This T square is a pressure outlet. And this is where Jupiter and Pluto specifically can hit you hard on the way out. Pluto can be very obsessive, very, very obsessive. And especially with Mars, December 21st, I almost had my list come out. December 21st can be a major catharsis for all of us, for December 21st specifically. So with this, Scorpio new moon can start for you over the next 6 months, and it culminates in this massive opposition T square with the sun, with everything. This can start a cycle of increased power, creation of power, and a big reveal. I'm calling this reinvigoration of the mastermind. I don't know, I got my little creepy little notes. Or you can start a new cycle of damage to yourself, and specifically publicly, to your reputation. And this is because of the sextiles to Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter. All of the sextile says is that the energy is flowing easily. But if you steer it, if you make your individual free will choices a certain way, it's going to be easy to go do something like that. So if you're thinking, feeling, and acting out of fear, paranoia, revenge, bitterness, cynicism, or if you are feeling accusatory and you want to point the finger at someone else, anyone else really, Neptune trining this new moon is that distortion. So you can see people acting like feeling so much like a victim of something or someone, and the cognitive dissonance is truly protecting them from looking at themselves to see where they are responsible for the pain in their life, or the confusion in their life, or the fear of their life, or being unhappy or just dissatisfied. That's Neptune in trine to the new moon in Scorpio. So I really want to make it polarizingly clear that it can be either or, definitely either or, because this Scorpio part of our life, the Scorpio area, energy meridian of our life, this has been under intense focus. This has been under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of digging for truth. So it's like, I feel like on one hand, it's really nothing new. Like we've had Mercury retrograding through here. It's like we've had a lot of energy here. So I feel like we should know better by now, but I'm a Capricorn. Of course, I would say something kind of harsh like that. So with this trine to Neptune, you do want to trust your downloads. You know, if you're listening to what I'm saying, you're like, yeah, I really did have to redo my desires and my motivations, or you have been thinking of others and you've been more like lighter doing the work. You can trust those downloads because you can be inspired to augment your destiny path, and you must trust it because Neptune's actually squaring the North Node in Gemini. So that is like your take. How did I write it? Hold on. You can be inspired to augment your destiny path. So it's like your destiny and all these different paths, or all these different combinations. And there's an augment here. There's something, this Neptune can either distort that path and take you off that path. You can start the cycle of damage, or you can be divinely inspired and make a change or make a switch that is, like I said, divinely inspired. Like you are seeing a vision, you are feeling uplifted, it's like either spiritual exaltation and artistic culmination, Neptune, or it's total delusion and addiction and like distortion of everything, of people, of situations, of images. So like I said, it's how we channel that. Oh, right. Okay. So there's so much going on. It's really kind of exciting. Uranus is opposing Mercury in Scorpio, and Uranus and Taurus, this is the part of your life that's been shaking you down. Like you're not in control. Like this is why it's so interesting with the corresponding full moon. It's looking so financial because Taurus and Scorpio, that's money, that's finances in the natural chart. That's the second house and the eighth house. It's your finances, other people's finances, and all of that is T-squaring Saturn in Aquarius. Like the moon in Scorpio is opposing the sun in Taurus. And because I use a 10-degree orb, he's right there with Uranus in Taurus, Venus in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus. That's a lot of areas of life being pulled into and being centrally focused on that Taurian energy. So this area right now, we've been experiencing lots of surprises, twists and turns, but it's going to be much more of a focus in 2021. And with Saturn now in Aquarius, this is when I did a video about tribes and groups breaking up, falling apart, and new ones coming together. So there's like this very serious, and Saturn can be money too. Saturn in Aquarius cares about that too. So this is definitely some huge pressure cooker that you want this to pop good for you. You want it to be like the champagne bottle popping, not like the popping of a balloon that deflates. You know what I'm saying? So back to right now. So at this new moon, we have Uranus opposing Mercury in Scorpio, the same sign as the new moon. So there's definitely surprises in communication, not just communication, but the mind, epiphanal moments, revelations. And this is one of the things, who has it? It's like Virgo and Scorpio, I feel, because Virgo's having this new moon in their third house and Scorpios are having this new moon in your first house. It's like, oh yeah, and Scorpio, because your third house of the mind is Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn. So there's like this mental quality of the mind is not just like here with you. It's your local environment. That's why the third house also rules like your neighborhood, your siblings, your area, your local environment, because your local environment has an effect on your mind, on your mental health. So with Mercury opposing Uranus at this new moon, it's very much like stay open-minded, because you could either have that attitude going into this, and then when things come up, you're like, oh, okay, I'll go with it. I can go with this. I'll ride the wave. Because if you think that you have your destiny figured out, or you want to feel like you have your whole life figured out, this is going to be disruptive. And like the more you resist and dig your heels in, which is kind of Taurian, it's just going to take longer. It's going to be more painful, because pain is the greatest teacher and we have to go through it. Every single one of us has to do their own growing, no matter how tall your grandfather was. So there's that. And just remember this Mars, one last thing, that it needs a release point. Like this is the point of release, a lot of passion, a lot of drive. And with Chiron too, 5 degrees Chiron with that Mars, it's like, I just want you to move forward in this action, not from a selfish place or a self-serving place, but from a place of, this is my pain, and I know I will live with this pain the rest of my life. Whenever I think about it, it'll hopefully get duller and duller as time goes on, but I know that it's a wound that happened and may never heal. So I am going to be this passionate warrior of service to other people suffering the same exact pain as me, or who's been through the same exact pain as me, or who the underdogs, that's how and that's just me being love, truth, integrity on the Artegan. Like I idealistically would love to see that. So if I inspire anybody, kudos to you. Because like I said, you can move forward in taking action now, more so in December and January, but you may get opportunities. And if you do, that's just what I recommend, because another thing about the Scorpio new moon is a big reveal, like freaking Wizard of Oz, big reveal. But the big reveal may come from inside. It may be an internal truth of yours, something inside of you that was hidden from you, or you couldn't see, or couldn't deal with, or what have you. It could be a new desire. It could be bravery. It could be courage. It could be anything. That's for you to know. But it's a big reveal, and you're going to know it. And then the very last, let me see if I just talked about every single thing. I have like a million little notes here. Oh, that's right. Okay. So if there are any breakups happening right now, that's another thing. So this is especially the clearest example that I can give you is my own, is Capricorn's sun, moon, risings. Aries is your 4th house. So this Mars retrograde, as far as relationships go, you guys could have been breaking up with people, being broken up with, or hired, fired, cutting off family members, becoming estranged, any of that kind of stuff. And this was the test of the connection. This is the test of the bond. And if it's made it out of this year, really, because this year is finishing up cycles that are longer than just 1 year. Saturn is setting the agenda at this new moon and getting the power from Venus and getting the power from direct Mars. And it's like taking the pressure, putting it all onto you, and just like pushing you out on stage and seeing if you remember the steps, and if you can dance, and if you can do this, and if you can do that, like according to the tempo. And if you can do it, if you can do all of that under pressure, you have incredible momentum moving forward. What was I even talking about that led me there? Oh yeah, breakups. So this Mars retrograde could have brought a lot of strain on relationships, a lot of stuff. So if anything is breaking up, they're blessings. If you didn't get a job, if you got broken up with, if you got rejected anytime from late July, really since the end of June, but late June, late July, mid-September till now, those are the hot points. But if you've been rejected, it's been a blessing in disguise. Of course, it sucks always getting rejected. We all don't like that. No one likes to feel that way, but it's been better. It's working out for you. Just trust that. Just trust it. Even if you don't see it, believe it, or feel it, just trust that. Just trust it. Okay. Last but not least, I saved the best for last. Loyalty determines your momentum at this time. This is because of Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn, and we love a loyal person. We Capricorns are just... feels good. Okay, so the reason why I say that is because this new moon, and this is so Scorpionic, Capricornic, that when they get together, when Scorpio and Capricorn gets together, I swear they can really rule the world. That's why they're one of my favorite power couples. Capricorn is my favorite power couple. Ultimately, my second favorite is Scorpio, Capricorn. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, here's what you want to do. You want to send out a message, an email, a text, a phone call, a direct message, whatever's appropriate for you in the connection to the person that we're talking about. This is someone that is powerful, an authority figure, someone that has helped you. Honestly, anyone in a power position that has helped you, encouraged you, been kind to you, gave you a leg up, gave you, a gig, got you a job, put you in place somewhere really positive. Anything like that, you want to send them a message. And hold up. You want to send them a message, and you want only 2 parts. You want to keep it short and sweet, not like rambly. You want it to be 1 part, or the first part, appreciation. Second part, last part, generosity. Okay. This is like if I'm a carpenter and I reach out to someone that got me a gig, a carpenting gig, I would say, thank you so much for, hey, hello, thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate it. I just finished a beautiful handmade wooden rocking chair. I remember that you and your wife are pregnant, and, you know, I please let me send this to you to show my thanks or to show my gratitude, my appreciation, that kind of thing. And that's it. Don't expect anything from it. Don't just that, just something really, really, you want to show respect. You want to show maturity. You want to show strength and grit and tact and patience. And above all, what did I first say? Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. That's it. Because this, I'm telling you, this Capricorn energy, especially with Jupiter and Pluto, especially with Jupiter, Pluto here in Capricorn, it's like that's, they eat it up. They eat up all that maturity, all that strength and wisdom and perseverance. If you've been Bruce Lee, I'm telling you guys, if people have been banging their heads against the wall since June or July, it's not going to get better. They're only going to be released from the things that were holding them back, but only to make wrong decisions and take wrong actions that are going to blow up even worse and be more embarrassing and be more, you know, they're going to be in conflict or in litigation or in like some ugly battle for slander or something weird. It'll be something weird, but that's authority. That's Capricorn. It's like courts and systems and prisons, and it's like all of that stuff. So we want, well, I want an easy time. We want an easy, we're rolling with the homies, right? So that's what I would recommend, just as like a sign of good faith, just something nice, just to keep those relationships really positive and to keep everything really cool. Really, really cool. Okay. Let me see if there's absolutely, I think that was it though. Yeah, because this is a very, like I said, a very Mars-ruled lunation. Mars is direct, and Mars rules Scorpio. And they're both talking to Pluto, which also rules Scorpio. Mars is squaring Pluto. The new moon is sextiling Pluto. So you just got to work it. You just got to really be the Bruce Lee and harness and hone your energies. Remember, it's a reinvigoration of the mastermind. So the Scorpio area of your life, hopefully you found the scorpions inside of you. You found where you just get so triggered. What did I say? Fear, paranoia, revenge, bitterness, cynicism, accusatory, jealousies. At this time, there can be more of that, more distortion where you're projecting something onto someone else, or, you know, but hopefully you've seen those parts of yourself and then you kind of like set yourself aflame, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, and you become the eagle, Scorpio. And so now hopefully you're just like, I love watching those eagles and the like red-tailed hawks or like any hawk, basically. They're just like, their eyes are so sharp, and they can see little mice and little rodents and little gophers and things. It's just that's how you transform that focus. And if you think about it, the scorpion can only see the dirt in the ground, can't see anything else. That's what it's like when being in that distortion for people, when they're in fear, when they're in paranoia, revenge, bitterness, cynicism, accusatory, jealousies. They can't see. And you have to leave those people alone, because you have to leave them alone and let them work it out. Arguing with people in that energy is just futile. I don't know. It's futile though. It's just pointless. So, yeah, hopefully, they get to see more, but this is about you. It's not about other people. So hopefully you guys start a new cycle where when you do take action and move forward, it's full of maturity and strength and confidence and appreciation and gratitude and generosity and respect. Okay. Sorry, I haven't really been looking at the chat, but I love you guys forever and ever. I'm going to hop on. Yeah, I know I can talk to you guys about this stuff like all day, but I am going to hop on Patreon, and then I'm going to interpret this Mars direct as well as this Scorpio new moon for all 12 zodiacal signs. So, and we also do tarot. So I'll see you guys over there on Patreon. It's the Knights Tier and above. Otherwise, my loves, thank you so much for hopping on and joining me. I love these. I want to go live more. So, you guys are so cute. So take care. Have a great, great Scorpio new moon. And I will see you guys again very, very soon. I love you and lots of blessings on your heads. Mwah, mwah.